Hello everyone, welcome to the second episode of the Ukraine Ultimate Guide. We are here with no antenna here, and this is actually all the coverage right here, but this is not all that we'll be going through today, don't worry. We're only going through these roads here, as you can see. Um, yeah, as you can probably guess, no antenna is simply when the car has no antenna, as you can see here. Uh, pretty, pretty obvious. It can be red or it can literally just look like no car. It could be either of the two. It just can't have the long antenna, basically. Well, or a short antenna, right? So, yeah, as long as it has those two things, it's no antenna. All right, there are a few things I want to mention before we get into the video. For one, make sure to check out the A-type video. That's the first part of the series. I also wanted to say what things you need to be looking for when doing Ukraine. And it's going to be driving direction, pavement, antenna, coverage type, and of course, clouds. I also wanted to mention that keep track of these roads because I'm going to put a map to all of these roads, 5 locks per road or cluster, so that you can practice yourself from the tips from this video. Now, first, a general tip. As you can see with this coverage here, uh, most of the coverage is on like 2 highways. So it's on this highway that goes from like, I guess, this little town of Lipovets all the way to, let's see, yeah, all the way to Kryvyi Rih, basically. So this highway right here. So that's like most of the coverage. There's a bit of highway here, but then this is also a very, very long highway right here. And I call it the Romney Road because it goes through the town of Romney, as you can see. So yeah, those are like the two main highways. And so if you're just getting some area that's going east, they're all driving east for some reason. But yeah, like probably click one of those highways, right? The other main tip is that a lot of the May coverage cluster here, as you can see, let me go to the and selections. A lot of the make coverage is just right here, right? Like, of course, there's some random roads that have it as well, but a lot of the make coverage is here, and that actually gets into our first cluster here. We have this cluster right here, and basically, it's just any random make coverage, right? It's not a very main road, although some of them are, like right here. This is a main road, and that's going to be included in the map. So as you can see, like this is a main road, but you're going to have a lot of stuff like, I think, this lock, which I mean, look at this. It's May coverage, and you can tell from how light green the trees are, stuff like that. And usually you get more yellow flowers and stuff. Maybe we don't have it here. I guess we do. Um, but yeah, it's just like random May coverage, just in kind of usually semi-urban, but this is just kind of rural locations here. And usually you get some clouds in these kind of locks, not a ton. Um, but yeah, this is just a general cluster, and I wanted to include it in the map because I think you should just hedge here, honestly. If you just get kind of random May coverage, you don't really know where you are. I think you should just hedge south of Rivne, northeast of Ternopil. However way you want to think about it, that's where you want to send. All right, in the next lock here, we're going to the far southwest. And I always include like, one little road, like maybe the most common road or something in the southwest, because it is pretty easy, right? If you get mountains, you're going to be in the southwest. But what I wanted to point out here is if you're driving south on a paved road and it has no clouds, consider clicking just Synevir National Park. Is it the only coverage that has this? Probably not, honestly. There's probably some other driving south, no clouds kind of thing. But this is the main road of coverage that has these features. And so I just thought, okay, decent to include. Like if you're going to get a southwest lock and it's driving south and has these features, then just try to click here. And yeah, that's all I really have to say for that. It could be somewhere else, but it's always a good try to just click there. All right, now we're going to some south of Ternopil stuff. So I'm going to call this the Buchach road. That's probably not how to pronounce that. So I apologize to anyone who actually knows Ukrainian. Yeah, this road is kind of distinct in a way. Like it has a very unique kind of pavement to me. I don't know. It sounds like really dumb. But it feels like kind of unique type of pavement. We're driving southwest, and then it has somewhat hazier clouds. Like you can see like these weird kind of hazy strips in the sky kind of. And yeah, we also have that sand that I mentioned in A-type was pretty southwestern Ukraine. So you can get that vibe from there as well. It is in May coverage, as you can see from the yellow flowers. And one thing that's kind of distinct about this area in general is this pavement. I don't know. You guys have to tell me like what it is about this pavement that feels so distinct because it just feels like this area to me. Maybe I've just played too much Ukraine, but in the next road we're getting to, you're going to see the same kind of pavement essentially. So, maybe you'll think I'm not crazy, but yeah, I don't know. This road is basically distinct for all those features, just the sand making it southwest. Generally speaking, driving southwest, May coverage, kind of hazier clouds, and this this pavement, which I swear is unique. I swear. But yeah. All right. Next we have the Tolstay Road. The Tolstay Road is pretty similar in my opinion. I can't remember actually which driving direction this goes. Okay, apparently it goes northeast. Um, but I'm gonna show you guys this lock. Like, look at this pavement. Like, I don't know. There's something so distinct about it. It's kind of grainy, but it's not exactly Sumy pavement. And yeah, this road has no clouds most of the time, and it's ever so slightly hilly, and it's usually very open. Um, and you still get this kind of sand and dirt and whatever. Uh, you can very strangely mistake some of these locks for Sumy, so make sure not to do that. Uh, but yeah, just remember the no clouds and this kind of pavement, and yeah, you should be good with this one. I think this coverage goes southeast. Yep, it does. But yeah, it's pretty gettable, just with vibes and whatnot, and with the features I already described. So there it is, Tolstay. All right, now we're going to the P48. So this is near Sataniv, and all these roads I've been talking about have been south of Ternopil, as you've noticed here. So even if you can't remember the exact road, you're getting close, right? Yeah, this has mostly that sand that I was talking about. In fact, I would say on this road it's even more prevalent than a lot of other roads that I just talked about. Like this is just very blatantly like bright white sand staring right in your face, basically. It has a few clouds sometimes. I think it gets cloudier the more you go south, I think, if I remember correctly. And this is all driving north. So, yeah, if you have a north driving, tons of sand, no antenna, it's a pretty cookable road from that. You'll see down here we have more clouds, generally speaking. Not that much clouds, but yeah, we have a little bit more clouds there. Got a little bit of clouds there. And you still have that sand driving north, as you can see. So, yeah, it's all pretty cookable. Oh, and actually I was wrong. Okay, the clouds. Okay, more clouds is north. I did forget that feature, to be honest. But yeah, more clouds is actually going to be north. And you can region guess it based on that. But yeah. All right, guys, and now we're starting one section of the highway here. There is some highway that goes over here, but I couldn't find anything distinct about it. In fact, even the driving directions change at some point, which is so strange. Um, but east of Khmelnytskyi, Khmel, Khmelnytskyi, I think, this area is very distinct. So this actually has a smudge. So it's very simple. It's right in front of your car. You can't miss it. It's just right here. And yeah, it's also driving kind of east or southeast. And it looks kind of eastern and it's a little bit hilly. So kind of a lot of the landscape features that we've already described, I guess. Just hilly and green and whatnot. So, yep. It's apparently May coverage, although it hardly even looks May coverage to me, honestly. But I could kind of see it a little bit. But yeah, basically just that smudge driving east on a main highway. And it doesn't quite go all the way to Vinnytsia. It actually kind of stops around here. So this is around the last lock that has it, which is interesting. So yeah, just click that road if you see the smudge. All right, next we're going to Zhytomyr. So this road is basically characterized by, I would say, a very pink road. We'll call it the pink road. Why not? Because that's fun. Right, guys? Now, this road is not always pink. I just like calling it that because I see it often, I feel like. But yeah, this road has almost no clouds except to the southeast where it has some clouds. And then it's driving northwest and it's May coverage. And yeah, I mean, that's really all you need. It kind of looks like this area too. I'm not really sure why though, to be honest. But maybe it's these bushes that feel kind of middle, but at the same time, it doesn't feel quite right for middle. Like it's too green. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, as we can see here as well. Okay, these clouds are actually northwest, which is interesting. They're not southeast, but you still have the southeastern clouds here, and it's mostly clear. Driving northwest with May coverage, so it is all pretty cookable there. And yeah, that's all you need for the pink road. All right, guys, and now we're going to something real fun here. So we're going to the Three Flies Road. So it's actually this like P17 right here, and you're gonna struggle to find this road. I have struggled so many times to find this freaking road, but it also goes on the P18. But it's basically southwest of Biletserkva. So if you go over here, you'll see here we have actually it looks like one fly in this image actually, but you can still see it a little bit here. And because we're driving north, that's also gonna help you get this road as well. I think technically I think all of this is driving north really, but yeah. you can see here, we got 1, 2, and yeah, sometimes you can't see all 3 flies. But if you can see that there's something going on there and it's on a small road and it's driving north, right, with I think no clouds as well, that's going to be indicative of this road. And I think it does get a little more potent the further south you go. I mean, yeah, you can kind of see it there a little bit. I swear there's 3 flies, guys. It says 3 flies on the JSON, and yeah, it should be accurate there. That's actually a different road that I clicked on. But yeah, the 3 flies road, even if you can't see all 3 flies. All right, now we're going to the Odessa road. You guys probably already know this one. This might be one of the most common roads in Ukraine. So this one's just the divided highway going north-south to Odessa. As you would expect, there's lots of kind of dark soil and sunflowers, right? And then this is just a divided highway going down there. So there's not too much I have to say. This is one of the only main divided highways in no antenna that's just going straight north-south. There is one 50-50 we'll talk about later, but the difference will be the clouds. This is pretty cloudy, honestly, and it's also has this like sun that's kind of contrasting a lot with the clouds. That's something I've noticed. So yeah, there really isn't a way to miss this for the most part. Maybe there's some weird lock that exists out there, I'm sure, but yeah, that's all you need to know for that road. All right, and now we're going to the main highway here. So the main highway actually goes from Lipovets, and then it goes all the way down to Kryvyi Rih, essentially. So I honestly really struggle to region guess this, and sometimes you can confuse it with this road, but we'll talk about that later. But this is mainly, keep in mind the driving direction. It's mostly going southeast, mostly, right? This is mostly going northeast. So if you can just remember the driving direction, you're probably going to get it right, just from that alone. But yeah, it's not always easy, unfortunately. And then use your vibes as well to differentiate those roads. But you'll see here, we have no clouds on a main highway. That's pretty big. And it's summer coverage, so you can't confuse it with any May coverage stuff, right? But yeah, and one thing I noticed is that the road quality is not always amazing in the west. Like you can see here, right? This road quality is pretty terrible. So in the west, it seems to be kind of bad road quality and then no clouds. And then if we go here, you'll see the road quality is getting slightly better. It's not amazing, but it's okay. And you'll also see we're starting to get more clouds. So that's what I've noticed, is that you're getting more clouds the further east you go. And then we're getting to one of my favorite metas, which is Khmelnytskyi clouds. And that's when you have these clouds here to the southeast, and it's just like a cluster of clouds. I don't know why, but there's no other clouds. But yeah, Khmelnytskyi clouds, you know, very good region guessing meta for that. And you can see them a little bit further down. I don't know if you see them here though. Nah. Like by the time you get here, it's just partly cloudy. So yeah, that's how to region guess this road and, you know, kind of get it, I guess. Now that we're at it, I think we'll just cover the other highway here. So this highway, the western part is really easy because it's a divided highway and it's going straight east-west basically, and it has no clouds. I shouldn't really need to talk about why this is a free road, just because I think it's the only divided highway that I can think of that's going just straight east-west like this, that has no clouds like this, in summer coverage. I mean, yeah, I just don't, you know, there could be something else that exists that I don't know about or something, but yeah, I think that's that basically. But the eastern part is where it gets difficult, because something like this, you could look at this and just think, wow, that could just be the main highway from, you know, near Uman, for example, like just the middle highway, right? But I'm going to say two things. I'm going to say, for one, we're driving northeast, which you could probably get at certain parts, maybe, of the main road, right? But this also has a much darker, grainier pavement, doesn't it? Which, as you remember from the A-type video, is very common in Sumy, which this is pretty close to, right? So just keep that in mind, and also just use your vibes, you know, just think, what do these areas look like? And sometimes I can't tell the difference, honestly, but you could try to use your judgment on that. And yeah, just think darker, grainier pavement. Is it driving northeast? Is it driving, you know, yeah, just think of the road angle, basically. And yeah, I mean, stuff like this is like a pretty hard lock, I'd say. But if you just think darker, grainier pavement, driving northeast, that's all you need. Okay, now we're going to get to this road southeast of Kiev. This is a pretty minor road, but it is pretty distinct, admittedly. So Yeah, the north part of this road is a really, really good road quality. Like, it's really good. It's driving southeast as well. And as you can see here, we also have Chernihiv clouds, which are very like kind of swirly-esque clouds. Now they're not as cool as Chernihiv, sure, but they're similar enough to call it Chernihiv clouds. Okay. Yeah, if you get that in no antenna, you can pretty much send this road. And then for this part, the road quality gets a lot worse, but the clouds are more or less the same, and so is the road angle. So yeah, you can actually road guess it based on road quality, which is kind of interesting. So yeah. All right, guys, if you have made it this far, make sure to take a short break for yourself. These are a lot of roads. It's a lot of metas to keep track of. So just take a deep breath. And yeah, thank you for making it through this far. If you've enjoyed, leave a like and subscribe. Uh, it took so long just to figure out all these roads existed and like how to differentiate them and whatnot. So yeah, I really appreciate you guys sticking around. And we're gonna go through pretty much every road in Sumy just for you guys. And then we're also going to go through all these roads because the east is very cookable. It's easily the most cookable part of no antenna. So yeah. All right, but we're gonna go to the southeast of Kryvyi Rih road here, and I like to call this road the dark road. But the reason I call it that is because it is very dark, and the clouds are also kind of dark. So yeah, you can get it based on that. And then we're driving southeast, so yeah, it's actually very cookable. Just remember the dark road. You know, that's all you got to remember. The clouds are dark, the road is very dark, and yeah, it kind of looks southeast as well. Even these parts, like look at this, like yeah, and you get a little bit of that like southeast dirt on the side as well, like very dark brown kind of dirt. Um, this part's a little weird because it gets a little less cloudy, but yeah, and this northern part is also not actually that dark. Actually, not even the road is. So yeah, this is weird, but even just knowing that this looks kind of southeastern, like yeah, I think that's kind of enough to get this maybe, but yeah, the northern part's hard, but other than that, pretty simple. All right, now we're going to go to the south of Dnipro area here. It's the HO8. This is actually the road that I said you could have a 50-50 on with the, the max south road near Odessa. However, these clouds are much different. I mean, these are very artsy kind of clouds. It's much sunnier. You don't have any of those dark clouds that we saw earlier on that road, right? Yeah, I'd say this road just looks a lot more artsy with its clouds. It's just way artsier, way more interesting. Arguably, this looks more southeastern too, with the kind of, I don't know, the dark brown dirt. I don't know. It's just it feels different. This is also a smaller highway. I think it's slightly smaller. So, yeah. I would say for this road, just make sure to click the HOA and not the E105. We'll see the E105 when we get to B type. Sometimes I still do that where I click the wrong road, which is kind of funny. So, yeah. But these are always pretty artsy clouds. So, just remember that. We'll call it the artistic road. All right, now we're gonna go above Dnipro here. We'll call it the north of Dnipro road. So this is actually gonna be the M18 right here. You'll see this. Well, it also goes into the E105. But yeah, this is kind of another dark road. It's kind of dark road 2.0. We'll call it that because why not? Dark road 2.0. And this is driving south. And yeah, it's pretty dark. But it isn't kind of the further you go north, I think, if I remember correctly. Yeah, it's a little less dark maybe, but not too much, honestly. Yeah, it's a little different on these northern sections, I think, because it's not quite as dark, but the pavement is still dark, and yeah, I think with the driving direction and stuff like that, you can definitely differentiate it from the actual dark road here. So yeah, that's north of Dnipro road. All right, and I actually want to skip just straight to Sumy here. I want to go Sumy and then down to Poltava here. I just think I don't know, it's the order that I picked the locks in and stuff, and I think it just works better. So all these roads are pretty easy. This random off-road here is super weird. So yeah, unlucky if you get that, honestly. I don't know, it's super weird. Yeah, this road right here, the what is it even called? Okay, the T1909. Well, it's just the one going kind of southwest of Sumy, so we'll call it southwest of Sumy road here. So this is the only one that's driving north to Sumy. So that's basically what makes it distinct, is that it's driving north towards Sumy. The others are driving away from Sumy. And yeah, it has no clouds, as you can see here. It's a very small road, Sumy pavement. This is super Sumy pavement. It's like Texas, but very dark, right? Yeah, and I want to see if it has no clouds in the south. I can't remember, actually. A little bit. Just a tiny bit. But yeah, not really, honestly. But yeah, this part is, yeah, driving a little northwest, so yeah. But basically the same thing there. All right, this one just straight south of Sumy. So this one's actually partly cloudy and it's driving south. Um, yeah, this has barely any clouds, but it is significantly cloudier than the last road, right? Also, this road's way bigger. And since it's driving south, you can't really have any 50/50s with it. So, yep. I will say, as you get really far south, like going down to Poltava on this road, you'll actually begin to notice it gets a lot cloudier. Like, look at this. This gets a lot cloudier here. And, yeah, eventually it actually becomes post-rain. As you can see, like here, if you look here, this road is actually, you can almost tell there's a slight glossiness to it. And I think it means that it rained pretty recently. It's kind of hard to tell here, but I know on this southern lock here, this is definitely post-rain right here. Yeah, this is definitely post-rain. You can just tell that it was just rained on essentially. So yeah, just remember Poltava post-rain. You can think of it as a little alliteration for yourself, Poltava post-rain. All right, and then this Max East Road is pretty cloudy. So as you can see here, the road is just so bad. Like, oh my God, monstrosity. But yeah, as you can see here, very cloudy. And this one also drives south. But obviously you can't mistake it for this road because this, it's way cloudier. So yeah, that's basically what this one looks like. You can weirdly mistake it for some of this like southern post-rain stuff, but it's not that far away, so not a huge deal. But yeah, that is basically all I have to say for this one. And you can even think of it as no clouds, partly cloudy, tons of clouds, which is kind of funny, right? All right, then I'm going to go down to the Kharkiv road here. So it goes from Oktyarka, I think. Oktyarka? I think so. Or Okhtyrka? Okhtyrka, I think. But yeah, it goes basically east towards Kharkiv. And this one basically is just partly cloudy. It actually is kind of boring clouds here. Just the standard definition of like partly cloudy kind of. So yeah, and I'd say it looks very eastern and just driving southeast, no antenna. So yeah, it's pretty cookable in that sense. And it is pretty consistent actually. The clouds don't really change too much. So that's a very good thing. So yeah, road to Kharkiv. And now the last one, guys, is very easy, southeast of Poltava. Do you guys remember Poltava post-rain? Well, we still have that on this road. So that's very nice. And honestly, if you see this post-rain, you can kind of just click Poltava a lot of the time. So yeah, this drives southeast and it's post-rain. Yeah. We do have a little bit of Teofipple clouds, which is kind of interesting. So, if you wanted to get it from Cloud Meta, it actually looks pretty distinct in that sense too. I've also heard people describe a sunset meta like Poltava sunset. So there is that too. So yeah, there's tons of ways to identify this road. Honestly, you really just need the post-rain, but you can use the sunset, you could use the clouds, you can use, just the vibes like Sumy pavement road angle and, cook it up that way. There's a lot of ways to get southeast of Poltava here. So yeah, just use your lovely rain metas. All right, guys, but that's it for the no antenna version of the Ukraine roads here. I'm going to leave a map for all of these roads and clusters in the description, and you can practice it yourself. We'll do B-type pretty soon here. And yeah, props to you guys if you made it all the way through. It's a lot of metas, so appreciate it so much. And yeah, definitely leave a like, subscribe if you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.